wet. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Sata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Sata Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning we are continuing the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 9 entitled Dhruva Returns Home, text number 15. If someone would like, they can use this book. Anyway. Tvam Nitya Mukta Parishuddha Vibuddha Atma Kutashta Adi Purusha Bhagavan Tri Adhisha Yat Buddhi Avastitim Akhanditaya Swadrishtya Drashta Stitau Adimaka Vyatirikta Ashe Tvam Nitya Mukta Parishuddha Vibuddha Atma Tvam Nitya Mukta Parishuddha Vibuddha Atma Kutasta Adi Purusho Bhagavam Striadisha Kutasta Adi Purusha Bhagavan Striadhisha Yadbhudyavashtitamacanditaya Swadrishtya Yadbhudyavashtitamacanditaya Swadrishtya Drashta stita vadimako vyatirikta ashe Drashta stita vadimako vyatirikta ashe Tvam Nitya Mukta Parishuddha Vibuddha Atma Kutasta Adi Purusho Bhagavan Striadisha Yadbhudyavashtitimacanditaya Swadrishtya Drashta stita vadimako vyatirikta ashe Tvam Nitya Muktya Parishuddha Vibuddha Atma Kutasta Adi Purusho Bhagavan Striadhisha Yadbhudyavashtitimacanditaya Swadrishtya Drashta Shtita Vadimako Vyatirikta Ashe Vaishnavis. Tvam, you, Nitya, eternally, Mukta, liberated, Parishuddha, uncontaminated, Vibuddha, full of knowledge, Atma, the Supreme Soul, Kutastha, changeless, Adi, original, Purusha, person, Bhagavan, the Lord full with 6 opulences, Tri Adhisha, master of the 3 modes, Yat, whence, Buddhi, of intellectual activities, Avasthitim, all stages, Akhanditaya, unbroken, Swadrishtya, by transcendental vision, Drashta, you witness, Stito, for maintaining the universe, Adimaka, enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices, Vyatirikta, differently, Ase, you are situated. Translation. My Lord, by your unbroken transcendental glance, you are the supreme witness of all stages of intellectual activities. You are eternally liberated. Your existence is situated in pure goodness, and you are existent in the Supersoul without change. You are the original personality of Godhead, full with 6 opulences, and you are eternally the master of the 3 modes of material nature. Thus, you are always different from the ordinary living entities. As Lord Vishnu, you maintain all the affairs of the entire universe, and yet you stand aloof and are the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. Please repeat, my Lord, by your unbroken transcendental glance, you are the supreme witness of all stages of intellectual activities. You are eternally liberated. Your existence is situated in pure goodness, and you are existent in the Supersoul without change. You are the original personality of Godhead, full with 6 opulences, and you are eternally the master of the 3 modes of material nature. Thus, you are always different from the ordinary living entities. As Lord Vishnu, you maintain all the affairs of the entire universe, and yet you stand aloof and are the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. An atheistic argument against the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead states that if God, the Supreme Person, appears and disappears, sleeps and awakens, then what is the difference between God and the living entity? Dhruva Maharaj is carefully distinguishing the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from that of the living entities. He points out the following differences. The Lord is eternally liberated. Whenever He appears, even within this material world, He is never entangled by the 3 modes of material nature. He is therefore known as Triyadisha, the master of the 3 modes of material nature. In Bhagavad Gita 7:14 it is said, Daivihi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. The living entities are all entangled in the 3 modes of material nature. The external energy of the Lord is very strong, but the Lord, as the master of the 3 modes of material nature, is ever liberated from the action and reaction to those modes. He is therefore uncontaminated, as stated in the Ishopanishad. The contamination of the material world does not affect the Supreme Godhead. Krishna therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita that those who are rascals and fools think of Him as an ordinary human being, not knowing His Param Bhavam. Param Bhavam refers to His being always transcendently situated. Material contamination cannot affect Him. Another difference between the Lord and the living entity is that a living entity is always in darkness. Even though he may be situated in the mode of goodness, there are still so many things which are unknown to him. But it is not the same for the personality of Godhead. He knows past, present and future, and everything that is happening in everyone's heart. Bhagavad Gita confirms this, Vedaham Samatitani. The Lord is not part of the soul. He is the unchangeable Supreme Soul, and the living entities are His parts and parcels. The living entity is forced to appear in this material world under the direction of Daiva Maya. But when the Lord appears, He comes by His own internal potency, Atma Maya. Besides that, a living entity is within the time of past, present and future. His life has a beginning, a birth, and in the conditioned state of and in the conditioned state his life ends with death. But the Lord is Adi Purusha, the original person. In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma offers his respect to the Adi Purusha, Govinda, the original person, who has no beginning, whereas the creation of this material world has a beginning. The Vedanta says, Janmadya asya yataha. Everything is born from the Supreme, but the Supreme has no birth. He has all the six opulences in full and beyond comparison. He is the master of material nature. His intelligence is not broken under any circumstances, and he stands aloof, although he is the maintainer of the whole creation. As stated in the Vedas, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanash Chaitananam. The Lord is the supreme maintainer. Living entities are meant to serve him by offering sacrifices, for he is the rightful enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. Therefore everyone should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord with his life, his riches, his intelligence, and his words. This is the original constitutional position of the living entities. One should never compare the sleeping of an ordinary living entity to the sleeping of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the causal ocean. There is no stage at which the living entity can compare to the Supreme Person. The Mayavadi philosophers, being unable to adjust to all this, come to the conclusion of impersonalism or voidism. I'll read that last line again. The Mayavadi philosophers, being unable to adjust to all this, come to the conclusion of impersonalism or voidism. What are they not able to adjust to? All these differences between the Supreme Lord and the living entity. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Translation again. My Lord, by your unbroken transcendental glance, you are the supreme witness of all stages of intellectual activities. You are eternally liberated, your existence is situated in pure goodness, and you are existent in the Supersoul without change. You are the original personality of Godhead, full with six opulences, and you are eternally the master of the three modes of material nature. Thus, you are always different from the ordinary living entities. As Lord Vishnu, you maintain all the affairs of the entire universe, and yet you stand aloof and are the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. Dhruva is speaking here. How old is he? Anybody remember how old Dhruva Maharaj is? He's 5 years old. He's just 5 years old. And earlier we read he was lacking some confidence to articulate prayers in glorification of the Lord, Supreme Lord, that manifests before him. Where did the Lord manifest before him? Which place? Anybody remember? No? Madhuvan in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So Dhruva chose the right place, he was in the right situation, and the Lord before him manifest, and sensing his sort of hesitation and feeling unqualified, what did the Lord do? Took the conch shell and touched his head. And Dhruva became so empowered, and you can just read these amazing, deep philosophical prayers that he is uttering to the Lord, that is indirectly defeating so much of Mayavad philosophy, so much of Mayavad consciousness. It's a very, very significant verse and commentary also by Srila Prabhupada. In this text we find that Dhruva, he is outlining many, many differences between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ourselves. We find that the nature of all living entities is that we desire relationship with others. And we think that in those relationships we will find satisfaction. Otherwise, what's the point of entering any relationship? But over time and experience we find that our relationships in this material world, what do they ultimately end in? Some form of disappointment. That's probably why you all are sitting here, right, in Hare Krishna temple, because whatever you tried out there for so many years led you here. Disappointment is a powerful force. It's a powerful guiding principle, but sometimes we don't understand why is it guiding us and what is it guiding us to. So people, they disappoint us, relationships disappoint us. We find if we look carefully, actually we don't even have to look carefully, people have so many faults. Actually, where we have to look carefully is to look within, because sometimes we don't find our faults, right? It's not easy to find our own faults. We can easily find it in others, and those faults disappoint us. And they turn out, after some initial investigation, some initial experience, not to be the kind of people that we hope for them to be. And then if we're truly honest, we will shockingly find that we also disappoint others in so many ways. So then, based on all these heaps and heaps of disappointment in others and self-disappointment, we can easily conclude, let us forget all types of interactions, let us forget all types of relationships, because all my experience and the experience of so many other people that I know of, it just ends in disappointment. So what's the point of it all? Let's just merge into a oneness. No relationships. No relationships. Oh, as Prabhupada says, into the void. What does he say at the end? Voidism. Go into the void. So people will naturally conclude by their external experience that the Absolute is impersonal, or it is void. Because how can the Absolute Truth be a person when all my experiences of persons in this material world is just disappointing? How can the Absolute be a person? And if God is a person, if somehow He is a person, then He's also going to probably be disappointing. We can think like that. So best we think that, or we come to the conclusion that the Absolute is a non-person, is not a person. That's the safest, easiest approach to sort of tie everything, tie existence together. But we understand that the nature of the soul, the innate tendency of the living entity is to relate with someone else, with something else. We just cannot avoid it. The more we suppress that tendency due to past disappointments, the more frustrated we will get. We will get so frustrated, so very frustrated. So the trick is that we've been looking for a good relationship, a perfect relationship, in all the wrong places. If you want to have a perfect relationship, you have to find the perfect person. And Srimad Bhagavatam throughout reveals that yes, there is such a perfect person. Such a perfect person. A person that has similar attributes and qualities as us, but those qualities and attributes are perfect and uncontaminated. They are perfect and complete. So in this verse, we find Dhruva is how many? 6 differences between the qualities and the natures of the living entity, the Jivatmas, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We find there are so many differences. And it teaches us how to determine how the Lord is actually transcendental to this material nature, how He is superior and perfect and complete when compared to us living entities. So the first difference that Dhruva speaks about is that Krishna, He is always Nitya Mukta. He is eternally liberated. Krishna is always free and independent. Free and independent. Are we free in this material world? Yes, we're not handcuffed, we're not behind bars, but are we really free? We are never free. Why? Because we all, here today, we all have so many needs. This bottle of water in front of me can show that I have a need. We all have, I think the ladies in the ashram have no need for water, but if you're living on our side, on the lower planetary system, which is the Grihastha quarters, you'll find there's no water there, so we have a great need. So because we get thirsty, we need water. We all have so many needs. So we are never free. And even when we approach someone out of some desire for relationship, it's because I need something from them. Otherwise, why approach them on the material level? It's because I need something from them. So it's all exploitive. Relationships are all exploitive in this material existence. But Krishna is free. Why is He free? Because He doesn't need a thing from anyone. He is Atmaram, completely self-satisfied. Completely satisfied from within. And He's completely complete. Absolutely complete. The Upanishad confirms this in the invocation, Om Purnam Adha Purnam Idam. That everything, Krishna is complete and everything connected to Him is complete. So when Krishna enters into a relationship, it's not that He has some need. He enters into a relationship simply to give. This is the difference between us and Krishna. We enter into a relationship, the conditioned living entity enters into a relationship to get something out of it. Krishna enters a relationship because He has no need, He enters it simply to give. So there's absolutely no exploitation in His relationships, no hidden agenda. In our material relationships, something is always hidden. It's always there. Our hidden motivation is that we enter into a relationship because we want to become happy. That's our first motivation. Yes, it is the innate tendency for the living entity to want to be happy. Ananda Mahayobhyasat. The living entity is always pleasure seeking. But in its liberated state, higher than just pleasure seeking, the living entity is pleasure giving. And in the mood of pleasure giving, one finds the happiness, the pleasure that they are seeking. So Krishna, this is the difference. He does not need to enter any relationship to become happy. He is completely happy at all times. The second difference that Dhruva speaks about is that Krishna, He knows everything. Sarvagya. He is omniscient. He knows absolutely everything. And Prabhupada says in the purport that even if you are in goodness, you do not know everything. Goodness in the sense that even though I'm in a relationship, I care for somebody, I have no selfish desires in relation to this person, I really care about that person, but still I don't know everything. And I can do something wrong. Just like doctors, they take this, how do you pronounce it? Hippocratic. Not hypocritic, Hippocratic oath, right? the Hippocratic Oath. They want to selflessly offer their services to others, for the care of others. But you find statistics show that there are millions of deaths in the world due to negligence or due to mistakes of doctors and nurses. It's because even despite their best intentions, they sometimes make a mess of it. They actually hurt somebody due to their poor fund of knowledge. They do not know everything. They are genuinely trying to help, but because they are not all-knowing, they make mistakes. You ever found that this may be very prevalent in India, or even here, that when you are sick, some very close friend prescribes something to you, and you take the medicine, and what happens? You get more sick after that. It happens sometimes. Like Dinabandhu Prabhu always says, in India, everyone's a doctor, and every wall is a urinal. Anyway, it's a deep philosophical point. You can figure that out. So despite our best intentions, because we don't know everything, we will make a mistake with somebody. So we cannot give perfect guidance to anyone. Only Krishna knows everything. No jiva has complete knowledge. Not even Narada Muni, not even Lord Brahma. Narada Muni was so bewildered when he saw in Dwaraka Krishna dealing with all these queens and his family members. Brahma got so bewildered, isn't it? Seeing Krishna engaged in the cowherd boy pastimes. Even Narada, we read in, which canto is it? See, not all knowing. When he's speaking to Lord Brahma and he's confused that he thinks Lord Brahma is the supreme entity, is it second canto? I think it is. Yeah, second canto. Thinking that Lord Brahma is the supreme entity. This is Narada, the Mahajan, but he's thinking, and then he starts clarifying in a wonderful way. So even he doesn't know everything. So Krishna never makes mistakes. Actually, sometimes he does make mistakes, but his mistakes are called, what is it called? It's called pastime. It's called Leela. Can anyone suggest a pastime where Krishna gets bewildered and he makes a mistake? Anyone? Krishna, when he sees the beauty of Radharani, he becomes so bewildered. And instead of milking a cow, he begins to milk a bull. He gets so bewildered. That's quite a mistake. Right? Or the gopis, who are eternally liberated, perfect in every respect. When they hear Krishna's flute, what happens to them? They start putting their clothes upside down, inside out. Clothes that are meant to be on the bottom go on the top. Clothes that are meant to be on the top go to the bottom. And this is all called Leela. This is Krishna's transcendental mistakes. So the living entities, we are prone to make mistakes, but Krishna is perfect. He has all knowledge. And then another difference that Dhruva Maharaj speaks about is that Krishna, he comes here out of his own free will. That is not the situation for us. Of course, in a sense, it's true. We come here by our own desire. We are embodied based on the desires and the tendencies that we wish for, that we are after. But Krishna, he comes completely out of his own sweet will. So it's a difference. There's a difference between us and Krishna. Just like if we commit a crime, where do we end up in the normal scheme of things? You end up in prison, right? The criminal justice system puts us in prison. But a devotee will also go to prison for what purpose? To distribute prasad, or to distribute books, to distribute the holy name. So the devotee is going to prison thinking in this way, but a criminal, he is stealing thinking he won't go to prison, but he's caught and he's forced to go to prison. So the desire is there. Based on our desires, we end up here. We are forced to end up here. But Krishna is never forced in any way to end up anywhere. He goes anywhere and everywhere by his own sweet will. So the criminal, he is forced to go to prison. The conditioned living entities, we are forced to come to this material world. But this doesn't mean now that the government, they just go around and randomly pick up people, right, in prison, in prison, in prison. It depends on the activity of the citizen. If the activity is one of harm to others, to the other citizens, then they are restricted and they are brought to prison. So similarly, Krishna, he doesn't go around whimsically thinking, right, this person, that person, whatever. No. Based on our desires and tendencies, we end up in this material world. So Krishna is not forced to come here. Actually, he comes here only because of Leela, because of his pastimes. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaiva Dharma, he says that this whole world, this material world, is also Krishna's Leela. And when the jivas, the living entities, cooperate with the Lord in the Lord's Leela, then they will feel true happiness. Then they will achieve liberation. So when we are suffering, if we think we are suffering in some way, whether it's on the bodily level, the mental, emotional level, the societal level, the familial level, whatever, it's because we are not supporting Krishna's Leela. We do not find ourselves compatible with Krishna's Leela. You can think of it as a drama where we all have a role to play. Everyone has their supporting role. But if we go onto stage and think, hey, this drama is all about me, I'm the lead actor or actress, but the part has been written for someone else. Your part is another thing. You'll cause problems. You won't know the lines. The other players won't know what you're speaking. They won't know like the cues that you have. So it'll cause a major problem. There'll be disruption. But if we know our part in the drama, we accept everyone else's part and we accept Krishna's part, then the drama flows so wonderfully. And at the end of the drama, when the curtains open again, there will be a standing ovation for all of us. Not just Krishna, for all of us. So when we realize that this is Krishna's drama, we won't be confused and we will be truly happy. And then fourth, Dhruva says that the Lord has 6 opulences, completely in full. Therefore his name is... This is a slow morning. What is Krishna's name that he has all 6 opulences in full? Bhagavan. Yes. Bhaga means opulences and Van means to possess in full. He is Bhagavan. And actually this is in a way the root of our problem. Krishna has the 6 opulences. And we want those 6 opulences also in full. This is a problem. But the real issue is, based on this material body, we can't handle those 6 opulences. There's too much of power. The material body cannot handle 6 opulences. There's no way. We can't carry them. We can just see simplistically in this world, when someone is exceptionally beautiful, it becomes a problem for them. Firstly, the first problem is everyone wants to exploit them for their beauty, right? The second problem is how to maintain this beauty, because we know it's not going to last forever. Anybody looked in the mirror in the last month and found a new wrinkle on their face? Anybody found one? Look carefully, right, Ravindra, today? Check it out. You realize it doesn't last forever. So how do I fix this at the optimal age? What's the optimal age for beauty? I don't know, maybe 21 or 18 or something. But when you're 60 or 70, you thought, to hell with it, right? Who cares now? No, most people don't think like that. Some renounced people may think, but most people are trying on this cream and that injection and that suction and whatnot, trying to maintain the beauty. So being very beautiful becomes a problem. Or if someone is exceptionally wealthy, again the same problem. People are after you for charitable contributions, donations, some handout. Or you are also thinking how to keep this wealth away from the taxman, how to maintain it, how to grow it. It becomes a problem. That same opulence is so problematic. Actually, studies have shown, especially here in South Africa, that when people get some money very quickly, a lot of money very quickly, they end up miserable very quickly. Many years ago I read a statistic that a large percentage, maybe 40% of the lotto winners ended up bankrupt in the first 2 years. How is it possible? You get 5 million rands and in 2 years you go bankrupt? You may think this is ridiculous, but once you are given it, because you are given so much of opulence, you do not know what to do with it. You're not qualified to use it. You will abuse it. An abuse of anything is the cause of our suffering. It is the root cause of our suffering. Or if someone is very, very, very famous, sometimes within us, I wish I was more famous. I wish I was more well known. But those persons who achieved so much of fame, what is their lives like now? How do they go out in public? They wear a big hoodie, baggy shirts, so they don't get recognized. Because what will happen if they get recognized? People will be all over them. They have no privacy. Absolutely no privacy. But Krishna has no problem. He can handle all wealth, all beauty, all fame, all strength. He can handle everything. Everything. There's no problem for him. Why? Because the king of all his 6 opulences is what? The opulence of renunciation. Actually, it's described by the Acharyas that without this opulence of renunciation, all our other opulences have little to no meaning. Why is that? Because if you do not have renunciation, all the other opulences will control you and mesmerize you. So yes, we may be eager to get strength, wealth, beauty, fame, but if you are not detached from them, they will control you, and it will be the source of all your misery. This is very important. Very important. So Krishna, he has it in full, especially renunciation. Especially renunciation. And the 5th difference that Dhruva Maharaj speaks about is that Krishna is the supreme maintainer. He's the supreme maintainer. I cannot maintain myself. Very difficult. We need outside assistance to maintain myself, right? And even then, when we get outside assistance, we do not have the capacity to even reciprocate with the outside assistant, outside of myself. But Krishna, he doesn't need to be maintained by anyone. Besides him not needing to be maintained, he maintains everyone. Prabhupada quotes, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. That there's many living entities, there's 2 types of living entities, and both of them are eternal. Nitya Nityanam. And both of them are conscious, Chaitanas Chaitananam. But amongst these living entities, yes, both are conscious, but one has limited consciousness and the other has supreme consciousness. He understands everything about all the other conscious living entities. And he is the supreme maintainer for all those living entities. This is Krishna. This is also one of the areas of our disappointments, is that I cannot maintain myself independently, and I cannot really maintain anyone else, no matter what my role is. As a father, as a mother, as a doctor, as a president of the country, or the president of a temple, we know we cannot maintain anyone outside of Krishna's involvement. There is no way. We may think, materially speaking, I need something, let me go to the grant office. Hope they are opened. Right? Hope there's no corruption. Hope that the money has been taken away by other officials. If you go to shelters for food and clothing and some housing and so on, we'll go like that. But after a while we'll see, due to corruption, it gets taken away. Or for some reason we go to them for electricity and water. Just see South Africa. We hope there would be electricity. Go figure. Right? But it's only 2 hours a day, so don't feel bad. At least it's something. India has 24 hours electricity in the cities, by the way. So we'll get disappointed. We cannot be maintained. Or we're thinking, let me try and maintain others. But we find that by my attempt to maintain them, they are not satisfied. They are frustrated and disappointment. So all this type of effort to maintain others, maintain myself, just ends in disappointment. But Krishna, he is fully complete in every respect. His ability to maintain and take care of is unlimited. compared to us. And then finally we hear Dhruva Maharaj is saying that Krishna, he is Bhaktaram, he is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. This is a very, very important point. He is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. We find that we are making sacrifices every day, isn't it? We made a sacrifice. What was the first sacrifice we made today? We woke up. Big sacrifice. Did anyone appreciate us for that sacrifice? Did anyone tell us, way to go, you woke up? Jai, you woke up. The next sacrifice is, for some of us, we took a bath. Cold water bath, rather. I'm not sure all of us took a bath, but we took a cold because there was no water coming out of it. Did anyone say, oh, Jai, I really appreciate your cold water sacrifice? So, wow, amazing. So we're doing so many things that are difficult every day. Not just us in the temple, of course, what do we know about sacrifice in the temple? When you see what the conditioned living entities are doing outside, my God, they also have to get up early, they also have to take a bath, they have to commute for so much of time. Like yesterday we were coming from the Clara State Crematorium yesterday and we got caught in traffic. Oh, it was like, my word. A journey that normally takes like 22-25 minutes took us over an hour in traffic. It was just ridiculous. And the nature of a man is that they know better. Just follow the normal route. But I had to take another turn to find a quicker path and still got caught in more traffic. Took another turn, got caught in more traffic. Tried to do something slightly illegal and we saw police in front of us. We had to quickly stop. Right? So we try so many things, right? Go through so many difficulties, but we find we are never satisfied. We never enjoy, despite us making so many sacrifices. We are not the enjoyer of our sacrifices. This is a very important point. All my efforts, all my sacrifices, all my austerities, if we are doing it in the mood that let me enjoy, let me sit back at the end of the day. So nice. Look at the result of my service that I've done at the temple. I've put so much of effort, did so much. Kick back and relax now. No, that's Maya. Because you will be disappointed. Because what some devotee inspired by nature, Krishna, will come and not appreciate our heart sacrifices. Or they may find a fault in my heart sacrifices. And that will pain us to the depth of our heart, right? Why is it painful? Because we are not understanding who is the true ultimate enjoyer of all sacrifices, and that is Krishna. If whatever we do, we are even subtly thinking that I am doing this for my enjoyment, even in the realm of bhakti, then it is not bhakti. It is not pure devotional service. Does it fit the definition of pure devotional service given to Rupa Goswami? No, it doesn't. It's not for Krishna. It's for myself to have that feel-good experience. If we have that mood, even minutely, that I'm doing this, let it be appreciated, let it be honored, let it be recognized, let it be called out in the morning or at the end of the year in the Sankirtan scores, if that's the reason why I'm doing it, so that after 30 years of anniversary of this temple, I'll be listed in a newsletter or a nice souvenir brochure, and if that doesn't happen, oh, why isn't my name on that plaque at the bottom outside the public toilets? Getting bathed by bird stool. Why isn't it there also? I am very disappointed. What is the point of my service? Then if we find disappointments coming, then what we think? You know what? I've had enough. I'm retreating. I'm going to sit in my room. I'm not going to interact with anybody. I'm just going to chant Hare Krishna. My picture of my Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada is there. That's all I need in life. Full and perfect and complete. That's Mayavad consciousness. Because we are not able to, what does Prabhupada say? Such a nice line he uses. because the Mayavad philosophers, they are unable to adjust to all of this, they come to the conclusion of impersonalism and voidism. We come to that conclusion. Better to stay away. No service, no pain. No responsibility, no pain. No sacrifice, no criticism, no pain. But what does the peace formula? Krishna says in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how do you really get peace? Gyatvam mam shanting richati bhoktaram yagatapasam. By understanding that who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices and all penances? Krishna, not me, not anyone connected to me. That even though I may be doing my duty, and we have to do our duty, even though I am, whatever role I have in society, in family, in an ashram, in whatever business, I'm doing my role, but the role that I am performing is not for my pleasure, is not for the pleasure of others, but ultimately for the pleasure of Krishna. That let me perform this act not for my pleasure, but for Krishna's pleasure, that He's the enjoyer of my effort. Then we will do whatever we're doing with a higher consciousness, with the consciousness that we can tolerate anything, we can be patient about anything. Yeah. So this is the mood that Dhruva is trying to teach us as well. He went to the forest to perform heavy austerity, isn't it? Heavy penance. For what mood? To get a kingdom greater than his, was it his father or grandfather? Uttanapad's kingdom, which is basically greater than this universe. But he got snapped into reality. What does he say? Sthana bilasi tapasho stitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam. Kacham vichinvan. That I was searching after broken pieces of glass, my dear Lord. Kacham vichinvan. But what did I find instead? Divya ratnam. I found a diamond, a transcendental jewel. Because he was thinking, let me get this, let me get that, let me have this bigger show. I'll show my stepmother, I'll show my father. They dared insult me, they dared call me out, they dared find fault with me, they dared not recognize me. I will show them. So that was Dhruva's response. Let me fight this, let me show, I will sacrifice. But he wasn't satisfied. He only got satisfied when he realized, I was searching after broken pieces of glass. Or the other extreme is there, the impersonal extreme. Oh, no one's appreciated, no one understands me. Oh, woe is me. Let me negate from everyone. Let me leave from everyone. And we find that even amongst ourselves, right? In devotional service, depending on the modes that we are in, depending on the modes others in, we kind of conflict with each other and we realize, hey, better I stay away. Better I stay away. But that's Maya as well. That's the Maya that's heading us towards the most dangerous type of existence. Impersonalism. Impersonalism. So yeah, we have to come to this point that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. No one else. No one else. Then we will be truly peaceful. What to speak of peaceful? Then from that platform will we truly enjoy. We will truly enjoy. Alright, we will stop here. I'm not sure if there's any time for questions or comments, but maybe 4 minutes. Anyone? Or no minutes? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Swarup Damodar Prabhu. There were 2 points I really liked from the class today. One was the point that Krishna only has relationships in which he is giving because he's Atmaram. And I was thinking that relationship is also there between guru and disciple. At least from the guru's side, that's definitely there. And it's such an important responsibility that we also try to acknowledge our position as the servant of Guru, just to be giving, not to be just trying to get the mercy of Guru all the time, but actually just focusing rather on serving Guru.
Yeah, His Holiness Srila Niranjan Swami remarks from time to time that in the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple, there are two things: burden and mercy. The disciple gets the mercy and the spiritual master gets the burden. In a general sense, that's what happens. But when a disciple advances and develops love and affection and surrender at the lotus feet of the spiritual master, then they are able to give. They grow, they give to the spiritual master, and it no longer becomes a burden. Rather, it becomes a joy, a pleasure for the spiritual master to have a disciple. Like Srila Prabhupada once wrote, I can't get my history right. It was late in 1977, maybe a few weeks or a month or so before Prabhupada departed. And Srila Prabhupada was given a newspaper article, a report about the developments in preaching here in Durban. Different newspaper clippings and a beautiful report. And Prabhupada wrote a letter that when he thinks that he has disciples like this, like the devotees that were preaching here, his heart swells with pride. So, when the spiritual master sees that the devotees are engaged in Krishna's service, in that spirit, simply to please him, please Lord Chaitanya, please Prabhupada, please Krishna, then they become very proud. And you see, when Prabhupada would sometimes, very often, introduce his disciples to others, he would do so with such joy and pride about them, because he could see his disciples were just sacrificing, going beyond the call. And because of that, Prabhupada could see Krishna was willing to do everything for those devotees, take care of them in every way. So there's never ever any loss in sacrificing for the pleasure of Krishna. Never any loss. Rather, there's a huge loss if we don't. Huge loss. We should come to the point, Vishrambhena Guru Seva. To serve the spiritual master with intimacy, in friendship, in complete surrender.